everybody, it's Joy. I'm back with a project with Joy Clair Designs. Today we are celebrating a new release called Springish Fiesta. This is a collection comprising of 7 different stamp sets, which I would describe as all occasion. There are beautiful florals included in this, as well as some little critters that are just absolutely adorable. I typically would have chosen a floral because I love coloring them, but the Always in Style stamp set includes a lock image. And I chose this because when my husband and I first met, we actually engraved a lock with our initials, and we had locked it on a bridge in the northern Kentucky area, and that was kind of our thing. So this stamp just really spoke to me. So that's why I chose it and whatnot. So up on the screen, you'll see that I'm starting with the greenery that's surrounding the lock. I did this because it is the least likely color to bleed in my color scheme. And when I say that, I chose a deep red, vibrant red, and I also chose gunmetal for this, so both of those colors would actually bleed into each other or into the green if I hadn't started with the green. So my go-to Copic blend for greenery is the yellow green family, and I do 6, 7, 17, 03, and 01. And what I typically do is I wet the paper with the 01, which is a almost fluorescent color. And then I try to map out where my shadows would be. Right now, I have chosen my light source to be straight in the center, so that way I didn't have to worry about different angles or shadows. But anyway, my next step from there would be use the YG67, which is the darkest, to add the shadow, and then I would blend that into the 17, and then I would do an entire wash of the 03. And what that does, it just kind of blends out all those colors, because if you actually put them down on paper, they don't look like they would typically blend, but if you work them back and forth, they will blend seamlessly. So anyway, if you find out that this 03 somewhat washes out the color, I go back and repeat the 6, 7, and the 17, and you get a beautiful contrast. So next I work on the metal, and for those Copic blends, I start with a C8, a 6, a 4, a 2, and a 0. And the most important thing to always remember when doing metals is to leave a blank white space on your paper, meaning try not to get any color in there, and that's how you're going to get the illusion of this shine. If for some reason you can't squeeze in that white space, which along the curvature of the lock, I did fail to do that in a couple places, you want to use that C0 to wash the color back or push it back, and then you'll get the shine. Another key to metals is a lot of contrast. So even though that C8 feels like it's black, and it almost is, it is where your shadow is going to be, and it's going to make that center highlight pop. And that is the key, is contrast, contrast, and more contrast. I can't say that enough, but that is what I have learned when doing the colors. Now, I will admit I lost the footage of the red heart, but I basically did the exact same thing. I colored the red part of the heart with R24 being my lightest color. And then I mapped out where the shadows would be on this lock. And that would be under the chain. So wherever the chain hits, I made sure I used that R59, which is what my hero Courtney Creeber always called the scary dark. And then from there I used the R29. And that just kind of brightens up that 50 59 color and gives you just a fantastic color. Anyway, and then I blended it with the 46 and the 24. You're going to see here that I have broken out my Distress Oxides for my background. Now, I know you guys aren't very familiar with me being on YouTube, but Distress Oxides are my second favorite medium. So far I've got my Copics that are number 1, and my Distress Oxides is number 2. For my blend, I used Mermaid Lagoon, Broken China, and Tumbled Glass. And you will see that I have sped this video up the entire time, like by 4 times. And I'm just going back and forth until I get the perfect blend. Now, I say that I am putting a trellis on top of this background, so it doesn't necessarily have to be perfect. You just don't want harsh lines. So you'll see I have used my garden trellis die from Altenew, and I'm applying barely art glue, and then I'm kind of wiping off part of it so that when I lay it flat, I don't have all the seepage around it, because Distress Oxides, anytime you put anything wet down, it leaves a spot. And then, oh my gosh, do you see this? I am doing surgery with the scissors. I never use fussy cut anything. I use my skin and cut for anything, but I could not stand that white spot in the center of the lock, so I went across, like, along the seam, and then cut out that center. I chose one of the sentiments from the stamp set and blocked it out, and that pretty much finishes up my card. The blog hop information will be in the description box below. Have a good day.